How do you make a subscription offer that people actually want to buy? Hi, I'm Matt Holman, the Subscription Doc, and in this video, we're going to be diving deep into subscription offers. Now, for those of you that are new to my content, you have probably not heard me beat this drum over and over again, but there's a reason why I talk about offers all of the time. And that's because within my experience of working with hundreds of different subscription brands, the one thing that has been the most transformative across all of their businesses is the offer. No matter how good you can get on retention, no matter how good you can get on upsells, no matter how good you can get on winning people back, if you're not great at selling the subscription in the first place, you're not going to grow. If you've got this video, then I hope that you also have access to an ebook that we've released at the same time called Subscription Offers That Sell. Now, as a quick example, talking about the impact of a subscription offer, I've used examples in a previous video talking about you're acquiring 100 new subscribers each month. Let's say your retention, you lose 10% of those subscribers each month. Let's say you got 50% better at keeping subscribers around longer. You're going to improve that some of them on average stay from 6 months to 9 months. That's great. The reason a subscription offer can be so impactful is that it sits at the top of all of your different subscribers and how they live in your subscription program over time. What I mean is if you acquire 100 subscribers in a given month, they churn month over month over month over month. One of the easiest ways to improve your business is to get better at acquiring those 100. So instead of you acquiring 100 subscribers, you're getting 120, 150, or maybe even doubling the amount of subscribers you're getting in a given month. When we're focusing on the life of a subscription program, there are so many different pieces you can build out and worry about. The offer stands supreme in all of those things because it has a direct impact on the amount of subscribers you have, on the revenue you get from those subscribers, but also has a downstream effect on how they interact and engage with your brand over time. Now, a quick aside on the benefits of emphasizing a one-time option versus a subscribe and save option when we're talking subscriptions. Again, for those of you that are only selling a subscription product, you don't need to worry about this point. But for a lot of you that are in the replenishment models, you have the option, for example, of buying a bag of dog food one time or a bag of dog food, subscribe and save, right? And now it is more difficult to get people to subscribe and save. I know that. But for a lot of programs that I've looked into and advised in the past that try to sell the one time and then get people to buy back on the subscription, it's actually really difficult to do that. While there are some cases where that works, the reason it's difficult is that just in general, it is difficult to get somebody to come back and buy from you again, let alone a subscription. So if you're thinking about what type of business you want to build, do you want to build one that does really well on one time and then has a little bit of a trickle effect on subscriptions? Or do you want to try to crack the subscription code and figure out an offer that's going to be compelling to get a lot more subscribers in there right away? Now, for me, that choice is obvious, which is why I talk about subscriptions so much. But if you do need to think about, take a little bit of time thinking through why it can be better for you one way or the other. But for the purposes of this video and offers, we're going to be talking about trying to place more emphasis on subscription offers. And so this means we're going to be building product pages and experiences that are speaking more strongly to regular usage and subscribers to get them to commit and to stick around. Now, what is an offer? When we're talking about offers in marketing or sales, it really breaks down to a few different components. That is what people are buying. Is it a product? Is it a service? What actually comes with that purchase? So for example, when you buy Amazon Prime, you get a lot of things. You get access to their media library. You get, 2-day shipping on their program. You get access to special deals. There's quite a bit that goes into that offer. If you subscribe to a bag of pet food, you get the bag of pet food, right? So you're getting something when it comes to the offer. Now, the other part of an offer is what you're paying. The cost for that, the price, any associated discounts. We can do special things with price and discounts as well, right? Something might normally be $100. You can run a discount special for $50 or 20% off to get somebody to subscribe and save. The other piece of an offer when we're talking about subscriptions is the cadence or frequency with which it comes for someone. So for example, if we're talking about Netflix, you get access all of the time, right? If we're talking about pet food, maybe that's a subscription that you get every month. Or if we're talking about a beauty box, maybe that's something that comes quarterly. there's different ways to leverage the offer to make that compelling when we're talking around frequency. And then the final piece of an offer is more psychological. And this is the reason why people subscribe to your product or your service in the first place. Okay, so let's unpack all of these different pieces, because I'm going to walk you through a few different examples of brands that I love and brands that I think do a really good job of testing and iterating through offers. Now, the first of these, when we're talking offers, I want to get into is Dollar Shave Club. Now, this is a picture you can see from a Dollar Shave Club offer where they're trying to get you to subscribe to their razor replenishment service. You're going to get some body shave, and they're heavily discounting it. For $5, you can try out Dollar Shave Club. Normally, I think it's $25 here in this picture. You get $19 off, $5 to try it. Let's break down this offer a little bit. This is what's called in subscriptions a starter kit. It's a way of trying to incentivize somebody to try something out for the first time. Now, instead of just saying, hey, here's a one-time thing we're going to give you, we're trying to get you to try this starter kit on a subscription. That's one of the reasons why they're able to discount it so heavily, is because they know that even if they lose, say, 30, 40, 50% of the people on that $5 offer, they're still going to acquire a strong group of subscribers that are going to stay on that subscription. Starter kits are a really compelling way of putting your offer together for people that might be new to it or that might be curious. For example, if you're selling something like a protein powder, you could put a starter kit together of like workout supplements. You could have a few pills of glutamine or creatine that you put together with a bag of protein powder. This is your workout starter kit when you're trying to get somebody to subscribe to the protein powder, as an example. Starter kits can be really, really compelling because they have what feels like an introductory offer. It feels kind of new. It feels kind of special. You're also offering a lot with it, right? In the Dollar Shave Club example, it's not just that you're getting a razor. There's a few add-ons that go along with this. But keep in mind that the most compelling part of this offer is the price. They're taking something that you might be spending $10 to buy replenishment razors at the grocery store with and offering it to you for $5 to prove to you, or at least trying to prove to you, that they can get you a better shave, higher quality razor for less money than what you'd spend in a grocery store. Now, another offer from a brand that I love is called ButcherBox. You've probably seen their ads before, but one of the things that ButcherBox does a lot is they test lots of different offers to try to get you onto their subscription. They're so good, they've almost gotten me to subscribe a few times. But some of the different things they try is around Thanksgiving, they'll offer a free turkey for subscribers. They'll offer free chicken wings for the life of your subscription. Free salmon, different types of meat that go into a typical butcher box so that you'll be more incentivized to subscribe. Now, ButcherBox isn't leading with the discount. They're leading with an add-on. They're leading with something that drives more value. So, for example, if you're talking about your subscription is normally $50 a month, you could take the starter kit approach we mentioned with Dollar Shave Club and heavily discount to get people to try that. Or you can go the other route and include more items to try to get somebody to feel like this is a no-brainer for me. So like in that protein powder example I mentioned a few minutes ago, instead of discounting that, we could put together a bunch of different elements that anybody who's trying to get serious about at the gym with their workouts is going to find really, really valuable. So instead of a bag of protein powder that normally would cost you $50 for a month's worth of protein, we're going to throw in these extra different pills and other supplements that has a retail value of $100. So now you're getting this $100 value for $50. Now, that might seem too good to be true, but let's unpack this math a little bit for you. In the Dollar Shave Club example, they're discounting essentially like 80% off of this offer to get you to go this cheap. They're giving away $20 of potential margin on this in order to get you to try it. Now, but when we're talking about products that you own, you can always list the retail value, but what do they really cost you? An example I like to think of is if you talk about a $50 product, 10% off that $50 product is $5. 20% off a $50 product is $10. Do you have other products in your catalog that have a landed cost to you that is less than $10 or $5? Then you could actually offer that more profitably as an add-on than you could if you just offered a discount. The discount, you're just reducing the price that you would normally charge. The item add-on, you're not reducing it, or at least not reducing it as much, and you're including an item that has a higher perceived value for people than just a discount would. And I'd like to point out at this stage too, when we're talking about offers, different types of things incentivize different types of people, right? So discounts incentivize typically bargain hunters, people that maybe have been thinking about your product, or they're thinking about a product like yours. They see a 20% off offer. They have to subscribe and save to get it. So they subscribe, they get your product, they cancel the subscription, they don't come back. Or they only bought it because they thought it was cheap or cheaper than what else they were looking at. And 2 or 3 months from now, they realize they could get it cheaper somewhere else. When we're looking at add-ons or bundles, or even potentially starter kits, when we're putting something together for somebody, we're actually talking to people that are interested in solving the problem. They're not just price motivated. They're interested in the solution. They're interested in your product or products. And those people, again, in general, are more likely to stay on your subscription for longer term. Now, another brand I want to show you is Obvi. Obvi is an amazing brand. I love their team and how they're marketing their products. One of the things that I really like and I want to point out to you about their product page is that they're taking a single product and showing you that there are different ways to buy that. So up till now, we've talked about starter kits, we've talked about add-ons, we've talked about some of the different ways you can include something as part of this offer. What Obvi is doing in this example is they're showing you that, hey, we're willing to give you a special or different price or discount if you buy more of this at once. So one bottle of something might be $20, 2 is going to be $35, 3 is going to be $50. You get a better discount the more that you buy at once. Now, this might seem kind of like counterintuitive because I know for many of you on subscriptions, you've probably run into an issue before, what we call having too much product. People cancel because they've got too much of your stuff, right? Or, it's like that whole Costco approach. I don't go shopping very often because I just buy too much stuff at Costco and I don't need to get any more of this stuff. So sometimes we're concerned with giving too much of something because we're worried that people are just going to end up with too much of that. And while that is certainly true, when we're talking about ways to craft different offers that can feel more compelling, this approach actually, in many instances, I've seen convert better than one-time purchases. And the reason is you actually have a little more leeway with what you can give when you're giving away multiple things at once. So in an example of, say, a product that costs you $50, and say it costs you $10 to ship, you're willing to discount that by 10% in order to try to incentivize somebody. But if I can get somebody to buy 2 at once, that's $100. The cost to ship 2 items is generally not $20. It might be, say, like $12, $13, $14, $15. So the shipping doesn't cost me quite as much. And I have more margin available because I'm willing to give away 2 products at once at a bigger discount if I need to, because I'm getting more money back at once. So this is a lever that I think everybody should look at exploring if you're selling, especially if you're selling a single SKU and you don't have, say, like that protein powder example where I mentioned all the different things you could add on to make a starter kit. If you're just selling one thing, this is an approach I would like you to look at exploring, because you can get more value on the table for a subscriber to buy something 2 or 3 times as much as they would need. The trick is you need to change the frequency of the subscription. So you're not selling 3 bags on a 1-month subscription. You're selling 3 bags on a 3-month subscription or a quarterly subscription. Again, in general, these longer subscription types actually do tend to retain better on average than month-over-month subscriptions. And you do have more margin. And the nice thing is that you've essentially gotten somebody to pay you for 3 months of subscriptions all at once at front. And that's money you can put back into your business to try to drive more into marketing, acquiring more subscribers. Okay, the final example of a brand I want to show to you is called Flouse. Flouse was recently on Shark Tank. They are an amazing brand. It's electric flosser you can put into your mouth. One of the interesting things is that the replenishment heads, the floss part, you change that out every time. And that's what comes on a subscription. I'm sharing this with you because this is actually one of my favorite product pages that I've ever seen in the e-com space when it comes to subscriptions, especially when it comes to device subscriptions. There are a lot of these business models out there where you're selling, say, like some electric item or some physical product that gets used, and there's a supplement or something that comes along with it that gets replenished, right? Think like you buy a hot tub and you subscribe to cleaning chemicals. You buy a car, you subscribe to motor oil, right? Beauty products, and you are subscribing to skincare. Flouse does a really great job of a couple of things I want to point out. One, they show everything that's in the subscription, all the different items and things that come with your purchase. That's really, really important. Two, they've got a great way of calling out some of the value items related to the subscription, the product itself. They also do a great job of positioning the subscription offer as being better than the one-time offer. There's a better price. It's called out. It's very clear. You can also see that they very clearly mention that you get replacement heads at this price on this schedule. You can't really over communicate when it comes to subscriptions because people are going to have a lot of questions related to what's going into the subscription. This is a great example of how to position your product and make a really, really compelling offer. You not only get the electric flosser, but you get replacement heads on a subscription over time to improve your flossing experience. Now, there are a lot of other things that we can do to include to make our offer more compelling, right? So we've mentioned bundling different items together, bundling the amount of a product that might get sold at a given time, starter kits, but there are additional items related to content or access, right? If you are, for example, selling protein powder and you've created a course or a series on working out, you could include that course as a perk or a bonus for anybody that subscribes to your program. Or on the flip side, if you're selling a course, you could include a free bag of protein powder to get somebody to subscribe to your course. The idea is that you can use things like content. They scale better than just shipping tons of product. Content scales really, really well. But ultimately, the thing that's most compelling about offers is trying to understand why people want to buy this, right? So we've mentioned with Flouse. Flouse does really well because they're trying to solve something that's annoying for most adults, which is flossing. It's difficult. Your dentist is harping on your technique every time, something that we forget to do. Well, hey, I'm going to subscribe to Flouse because I'm going to take flossing more serious and I'm going to make it easier on myself to take better care of my teeth. They've nailed that with how they're positioning the product and talking about that product. Obvi has a lot of different ways that people are using their collagen for weight loss, for making your skin look better, for energy, all these things. So depending on the reason why you come to their site, they're trying to position that product in such a way so that it speaks to you and what you're trying to do with it. Dollar Shave Club. The offer they're trying to get is to make shaving easier on yourself. For anybody who's ever had to fight with a dull razor, who's ever been annoyed by the cost of razors in the grocery store, or just dealing with the regular inconvenience of having to worry about something that you're doing every day, they're trying to make your life easier. So no matter if you're selling a supplement for sleep or for exercise, if you're selling beauty products or pet products, trying to understand the reason why somebody would want your product. This is something we introduced in the first video, is getting into feedback, getting into engagement, trying to do a better job of understanding what people want from your product. We're going to go a little bit deeper into this when we get into purchase experiences and post-purchase experiences in the next few videos. But something to be thinking through with your offer is, what can I do for people that are finding this interesting? What can I do to make this offer more compelling? Now, again, as we wrap up, one of the things that I want you to keep in mind when you're thinking about offers is that it's really easy to get distracted by all the other things you could do in your subscription program, all the other things you can pay attention to. And while there are a lot of things related to emails and churn data and staying on top of net new subscribers, I do want you to start thinking more about what types of offers you can experiment with to make your subscription more compelling to people. Because I promise you, that is what will do more for growing your program. And I have two quick examples of how this has happened in the past. Gentleman's Box. For those of you that are aware of Paul Chambers, Chris George, and their team, Gentleman's Box was a monthly subscription that came with all these different items for guys. They were struggling with how they were acquiring customers and acquiring them profitably, like many subscription businesses do. But they did a little bit of work and talked to their customers and found out that some of the things that they were running into was people were price sensitive and people were getting product fatigue. If you're getting so many products on a monthly basis, you maybe don't quite use them all. Maybe they're not as interesting to you, but the price point they were selling at it wasn't as, there wasn't enough value there for some of the people that they were selling to. So Chris and Paul and their team took a step back and they decided to actually change things up a lot. They changed a few things. One, they changed the frequency. Instead of selling the product or box on a monthly basis, they changed it to quarterly. Quarterly meant a couple things. It meant that if they were to ship a bunch of products, you were getting it less frequently, so you were less likely to run into product fatigue. But two, they were able to actually charge more for the box. So instead of just trying to justify why somebody should pay $50 for a monthly subscription, they could charge $150 for a quarterly subscription, and you're getting all this stuff. So the price felt less. What's interesting is that it changed who bought the subscription. Instead of a lot of value seekers who weren't sure about that, they got a lot of people that were attracted by the value that they were getting on that price at that quarterly rate of how many products they were getting. It transformed their business and allowed them to exit from it completely. It's a beautiful story of how changing up the offer based off feedback they were getting for their customers, they took a risk and tried something that seemed a little counterintuitive, but was part of their offer testing process. My next example is a great way to understand what benefits can come when we're looking at the subscription program from a holistic view. I Heart Dogs is a great brand that I love, that I would mention all the time. One of the things that they do that's really, really compelling is they donate a portion of every sale goes to feed shelter pets. That's one of the ways that they make their offer more compelling, is so that when you spend $50 with them, you see how many pets you'll be able to feed in shelters across the country. But one of the things that they found when they were first running their subscription program is that people were churning because they were confused they had too much product. And they had too much product because they were confused about how much to order for their pet. A little pet versus a big pet, people were ordering kind of the same amount. They were either running out too soon or having too much product. So what I Heart Dogs did is they went back and they redesigned their product page so that you would select the size of dog you had, and that changed the amount that they suggested that you should buy and the frequency that you should buy it at. I know that seems simple, but it had a profound effect on their business. Their conversions on that increased by 30%, just doing a better job of helping people navigate how much to buy. And it had an increase on retention of 40%, because now all these people that were leaving because they had the wrong amount of product were getting the right amount of product. And so that's the beauty of when we start looking at the subscription experience and we look at the offer and how that it impacts subscribers downstream, right? That's why we don't want to sell somebody a 6-month supply on a 1-month subscription. They get too much. They have too much. They resent that. They leave. We want to try to get somebody in the door. We want to get them using the product, liking the product, loving the product. If we can get them excited enough up front, we can sell them more, or we can sell them on a quarterly subscription, or in many instances, you can get them on a prepaid subscription where people are willing to invest in, say, 6 months or a year in order to get a better discount because they know that they're going to use their subscription. So my final thoughts and takeaway for this video is to think more around your offer. What's something you can do to include that you can test to see if your subscribers will find it more compelling so that they're willing to pay you for it and that you'll convert more subscribers in the long run. Okay, on our next video, we're going to be diving into purchase experience, going through all the different steps that people can run into when they're on your website looking at your product and exploring to buy.